The wind whistled softly across the still surface of the lake, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. On its far side stood an old house, its faded white paint peeling, its windows reflecting the dying light of the evening. It had been empty for years, until that autumn day when Elena Morris decided to make it her home. She was a writer, known for her mystery novels, but lately her mind had gone dry. She wanted quiet, peace, and something to inspire her again. The ad had said secluded home by Crystal Lake, perfect for artists and writers. It seemed like fate. When she arrived, the caretaker, an old man named Mr. Halper, handed her the keys with shaking hands. "You sure you want this one, Miss Morris?" he asked. Elena smiled, brushing away her auburn hair from her face. "It's perfect. Remote, silent, and beautiful." The old man looked out toward the lake. "It's quiet, yes, but not empty. Be sure to lock your doors at night." He left before sunset. Inside, the house smelled of cedar and dust. The furniture was covered in white sheets. The wooden floor groaned beneath her steps, and the fireplace was cold and unused. Elena opened the windows, letting in the crisp evening air, and watched the sun sink into the lake. The reflection of the sky rippled across the water like a dying flame. That night, she wrote her first few lines in months. But just as she began to lose herself in her work, a faint knock echoed through the house. She froze. Another knock, slow, deliberate, from somewhere near the back door. She stood, heart hammering, and walked toward it. The door was locked. No one there. Only the night, the trees, and the lake. She laughed it off, probably the wind. But as she turned to go back inside, she saw it. A wet footprint on the kitchen floor. Bare. Small. Like a woman's. The next morning, she found the same footprint had dried, leaving a faint mark on the wood. Elena told herself it was from her own wet boots, though she knew she hadn't stepped there. She made coffee and decided to explore the lake. Outside, the fog rolled low over the water. A single wooden dock stretched out, creaking under her weight. The lake was eerily calm, as if watching her. Across the water, something glimmered, the reflection of the house, but it seemed slightly off, distorted, like another version of it staring back. She knelt to touch the water, but as her fingers brushed the surface, a pale hand flashed beneath it. Elena screamed and stumbled back, heart pounding. When she looked again, there was nothing. Just ripples. Back inside, she tried to convince herself it was her imagination. She poured herself a drink and looked at her laptop. A blank document stared back. The cursor blinked. Then, suddenly, letters began appearing. "She's still in the water." Elena gasped, slamming the lid shut. That night, the knocking returned. This time louder, and the house felt alive. The walls groaned. The lights flickered, and faint crying echoed from upstairs. Elena grabbed a flashlight and climbed the old staircase. The sound led her to a locked door at the end of the hallway. She tried the handle. It wouldn't move. But through the crack beneath it, she saw water, a thin stream trickling out onto the floor. She backed away, whispering no. Then she heard a woman's voice, soft, pleading. "Help me, please." Elena ran downstairs, grabbed her car keys, and rushed to the front door. But it wouldn't open. The knob twisted uselessly. Every window she tried was sealed shut. It was as if the house itself was trapping her inside. When she turned back, she saw a figure standing in the hallway. A woman, dripping wet, with tangled black hair clinging to her face. Her skin was pale, her eyes hollow, her dress soaked and torn. She whispered again, "You took my house." Elena screamed and backed into the wall. The figure stepped closer, water dripping across the floor. "Who are you?" Elena stammered. The ghost smiled faintly. "You don't remember?" Suddenly, Elena saw flashes in her mind. A newspaper headline, a woman's photo, a tragic story. Years ago, before Elena bought the house, a woman named Lydia Crane had lived here with her husband. They'd been happy until he drowned in the lake one stormy night. Grief had driven Lydia mad. Weeks later, she vanished. Everyone assumed she drowned herself too. But the papers never found her body. Elena whispered, "Lydia." The ghost nodded, her lips trembling. "You pushed me." It wasn't the lake that took me, it was him. The lights flickered violently, and a thunderclap shook the walls. The house moaned like it was breathing. The reflection of the lake outside the window turned black, pure, endless darkness. Over the next few days, Elena tried to leave. Every road led her back to the same turn, the same lake, the same house. She stopped sleeping. She saw Lydia everywhere, in mirrors, in reflections, in the water of her coffee cup. Once, she woke up choking, water pouring from her mouth onto the bed. She screamed, but there was no one to hear. On the fourth night, she found an old journal under the floorboards. It belonged to Lydia. He said the lake could cleanse sins. He said it would forgive him, but it lied. It took him first, and now it wants me too. The last entry read, "If anyone finds this, don't stay past the seventh night. The house will keep you. The lake will call you." Elena dropped the book. Her heart froze. She had already been there 6 days. On the seventh night, the storm came. Lightning split the sky, the wind howled, and the house shuddered. The walls dripped with water, and voices whispered through the hallways, "Join us, join us." Elena barricaded herself in the living room, clutching her laptop, typing every word, documenting everything. The power flickered. The floorboards swelled with water. Then she heard again, that slow, deliberate knocking. She turned. The back door was wide open. Rain lashed through the doorway. Outside, standing on the dock, was Lydia, waiting. Elena felt herself moving. Her feet, her body, as if something invisible was pulling her. She tried to fight it, but the whispers grew louder, more urgent. "Come home, come home." She reached the dock. The wind tore at her hair. The lake roared. Lydia reached out a hand. Elena hesitated. "What do you want from me?" she cried. The ghost's eyes filled with tears. "I want you to see." Then, the surface of the lake shimmered, showing flashes. Lydia's husband, drunk, pushing her into the water, her struggling hand, the bubbles rising, and then darkness. Lydia whispered, "Now it's your turn." The dock cracked. The wood splintered. Elena screamed as cold hands grabbed her ankles and dragged her into the black water. The lake swallowed her whole. The next morning, the storm was gone. The sky was calm. The house stood quiet again, reflected perfectly in the still water. Mr. Halper arrived later to check on the property. He called out, "Miss Morris." No answer. He stepped inside, everything neat, everything silent. Her laptop sat open on the table, still glowing faintly. On the screen, the last words she'd written blinked. "She's still in the water." Mr. Halper sighed, took off his hat, and whispered another one. He looked out at the lake. For just a moment, he thought he saw 2 figures standing side by side beneath the surface, watching him. Then, the water rippled, and they were gone.